Hold on, stop. Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Megan and John.
Lexi and Dominic.
My name is John.
Podcast Therapy Dog in the house.
Big Macker.
And Mike D.
Macker D.
So we're back once again. This is John's topic today.
Yes.
Nice and nice.
And I admit, at first when you said who she was, I was like, what do you want to talk about a talk show host for?
You know what? I saw, I was actually watching a documentary on Gigi Allen. No, actually, I was on Facebook, which I no longer have. And there was a picture of Gigi Allen, which I don't know if you know who that is. Anyways, look him up.
What's her name?
And there was a picture of him next to Wendy O Williams, or Wendy O. And I was like, who the fuck's Wendy O? I never heard of her. So I kind of looked into it. And,
Oh,
holy
that's cool.
shit.
That's cool. I don't feel bad then, because like I knew some of the music when I was looking this up, but I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, I mean,
This is insane.
so when I looked into her, I'm like, wow, she was like ahead of her, what, this topic? Or Gigi Allen?
No.
Wendy.
Yeah.
So the topic today is the Queen of Shock Rock, the High Priestess of Metal, the Queen of Heavy Metal, and Evel
Knievelette.
Knievelette, the Dominatrix of Decibels, Wendy O Williams.
O Williams.
Yeah.
Wendy O.
So I feel she deserves a shout out because I mean I think she was ahead of her time.
She was, very much so. I actually, while researching this, saw her. She was actually hosting an interview, and she was interviewing Vince Neil and Tommy Lee.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were just going over some of the music and playing some of it in the background, and she was asking what their inspiration was for the
That's
songs.
cool.
And I also saw she was on Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh my god.
And that was actually pretty funny because Sally Jesse Raphael is this straight-laced, like, she tried to be funny, but
she's just like a whatever interviewer.
she's wearing this business suit,
Yeah.
and
So
her crowd like had no idea who Wendy O was. Wendy O comes out with a tank top on, mohawk, yeah. Well, she didn't actually. She had it was cut, but she didn't have it spiked up.
Yeah.
the picture that's on her Wikipedia page is her with a pair of clear pair of pants on.
Yes.
Oh yeah. She was.
What?
She was actually. Was she a pornographic actress too?
Well, they said she did adult films, but
She was a lifeguard, a stripper, and a server at Dunkin'.
I know she was well known for like coming out on stage like naked, like or half naked.
Well, it was one of her jobs, so.
But I mean, yeah, shock rock, yeah. So
it's all you, dude.
let's kick it off here. So she was a member of the punk rock band called the Plasmatics. She was known for her on-stage antics and theatrics, including nudity, exploding equipment on stage, firing a shotgun. I did see that, firing a shotgun on stage. Not in person, I saw it on YouTube. Cutting guitars in half with chainsaws.
I saw that. on
That
YouTube.
would be fucking awesome.
I saw that on YouTube.
That's
Who
insane.
did that shit? Like, she's got to be a pioneer, for sure.
But she was early punk rock,
Yeah.
and then she switched from punk rock to
It's almost like metal.
hard rock, metal,
hardcore.
and then she did a rap album.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, rap rock.
I did not know that. All right, so Wendy O, born May 28th, 1949 in Webster, New York. Is that upstate New York?
Lexi, research girl.
She had strict parents. Now, this is what, yeah, she had, of course, strict parents. who attempted to give her traditional suburban upbringing. She described them as cocktail zombies.
Yeah,
Alright, so,
in a later interview, she said that my parents were cocktail zombies.
yeah, so mom and dad like to tie one off at the end of the night. Probably,
Yes.
whatever now called
Very upstate.
New York.
Yeah, very, very upstate. Right, like it's near Rochester.
Well, when I was doing the
Rochester's
research,
way up there.
I saw some.
It's more northern than Rochester. Like it's almost on the coast.
She had some Canadian influence too, so that makes sense.
Okay.
She,
I mean, it's beautiful up there. I can't even imagine in the 80s.
like Niagara Falls is neighbors.
My sister lives up that way.
Yeah.
At 6 years old, she appeared on tap dancing on the Howdy Doody show.
In the Peanut Gallery.
On the Howdy Doody show. Howdy Doody. And now here she is.
Yeah, well, it makes
pants.
sense. Like, she just kind of wanted to
Perform.
break free and get away from that, traditional suburban life.
Right.
Wendy said there were attempts to have her institutionalized after she became a rebellious teenager. She was said to have experimented with drugs and furious sex.
That's what it said. Furious sex.
In her teenage years.
And I assume that's when her parents decided, hey, if you're going to be having furious sex in our house.
No furious sex in our house. Okay?
Regular sex, okay, no furious sex.
Through later on in 1979. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you misspelled that.
Although.
Oh.
Like, although she had her experimental phase, but.
Yeah, after her initial teenage years and early 20s.
Sex, yeah.
And her furious sex years, after that she didn't do drugs. She didn't smoke.
Free.
She didn't drink.
Wow. So like in her 30s?
I think
she was 30 in 1979. She was born in 1949.
Okay. She wouldn't even let anybody smoke in their dressing room, and she did not drink. Good on her.
Her life partner, who they never married, described her in an interview as a teetotaler.
Ron Svenson.
That's just someone who's very proper, doesn't drink alcohol.
Okay. Oh, that's right. She did have a. Okay. Well, we'll probably get into that.
We will.
Johnny, jump ahead.
There he is.
She played the clarinet in her high school concert band. At age 15, she was arrested for sunbathing nude.
That was the first of many arrests to come.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Although in high school she was described as a shy and pretty girl, an average student who played the junior high band paid attention to her clothes and hair, and who spoke softly. Softly, you had to lean toward her to hear her.
That was one of the teachers giving that account.
She's pretty timid for now. She attended R.L. Thomas High School partway through 10th grade and left school before graduating.
So she never graduated high school.
Sounds like my sister. At age 16, she left home, which was 1965. I will assume she was a runaway.
I didn't know. I didn't know. They didn't say if she ran away. At 16,
it just says she leaves home.
At 16, you got to think she's a runaway.
Right, and then she hitchhiked to Colorado. So I think, you assumed right. She earned money by crocheting and selling string bikinis.
So that's fucking okay. Awesome. So 65, it's the hippie scene.
Yeah.
She goes to Colorado, and she's pretty deep into the hippie scene at this point. And she's crocheting and selling string bikinis to make money.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 16.
This chick must have had a set of balls on her.
Well, she had a set
obviously.
Of boobs. While she explored the world for a time, she became interested in Far Eastern spirituality, religions and gurus, as well as experimenting with mind-altering substances like LSD and mescaline, a hallucinogenic and intoxicating compound present in mezcal buttons from the peyote cactus.
So she did peyote.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So, like, she wanted to expand her mind.
I mean, who doesn't? It's the 60s. Come on, you got Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, who the fuck is Santana?
Carlos Santana.
Yeah. So I don't know if you ever watched like the Woodstock, but he took a shitload of acid before he came out on stage. And he says, I was not even in my mind. He's like, I was like seeing all kinds of shit, but he could play the guitar like.
It was second nature.
Yeah, it was like it was just crazy. Okay, so I guess then she left Colorado.
Yeah.
And she went to Florida and worked as a lifeguard. So she's a vagabond. She's bouncing around.
Why she goes to Europe?
Yeah. I guess a vagabond's kind of like derogatory. Then she went to Europe and worked as a macrobiotic cook.
Yeah, macrobiotic
is that?
It's based on Buddhism.
Macrobiotic is a fad diet based on the ideals drawn from Zen Buddhism. Reduce animal products, eating locally grown foods that are in season, and consume meals in moderation. Now, this never leaves her. Like,
right.
This.
Well, you'll see in her very end, like this kind of, I think, feel like it ties into her ending.
Absolutely.
She also was a dancer in a traveling dance troupe. During this time, she was arrested multiple times for shoplifting and passing counterfeit money.
Yeah, so while she was traveling, I guess when she wasn't selling crocheted string bikinis.
Yeah, she's getting it.
Or having these other jobs, she had to shoplift.
She's a little bit gangster.
Yeah, a little bit. Rebel to be sure.
For sure. In 1976, at 22 years of age, she traveled to New York and found a show, Business Magazine, on the floor of the Port Authority bus terminal station. It happened to be open to an ad for a casting call for Captain Kink's Sex Fantasy Theater.
So she gets off the bus. She's walking through the terminal.
She's like, "Ooh, what is back there?
Yeah,
that looks fun."
She picks up this trade magazine, and it's open up to this open casting calls for this
Sex Fantasy Theater.
Yeah. Captain Kink's.
So, I'm gonna do this part here.
Go ahead.
So, now Rod Svenson was the producer of this show. Rod Svenson, actually, dude, when you hear about what this guy is now, like, the guy's a freaking genius.
Yeah.
So he said she showed up. We were almost done for the day. They were getting ready to leave. But she called and she insisted. She was like, "You got to give me a chance. You got to see you got to see me. You have to." So they waited for her. And when she walked in, she was just different. She was carrying a small suitcase with everything she had was in that suitcase, like her whole world.
Yeah.
And she had a gold Buddha under her arm. And she was dancing with this Buddha to Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh my God.
And she was singing the song, but it was in her own scratchy voice.
Okay.
He said, I remember she emptied her suitcase upside down on the floor and started showing me things and wouldn't stop. It was amazing. Almost lost my beer.
Like, what?
I wasn't even sure what to make of it. And we'll say, okay, let's see what you can do. And they put her in for a few days, and she just like it was her niche. Playing multiple parts, making costumes, and which she also did for the Plasmatics. And in that interview with Sally Jesse Raphael that I was watching, she came out and she had, I mean, you know the punk rock shit, the spikes and stuff.
Yeah.
So she came out with these leather gauntlets around her wrist.
They're awesome.
With these huge spikes on them. And Sally's like, "Where did you buy something?" She goes, "Oh, I made this."
Dude, funny story. I remember making shit like that. Like, you could go to this store. We went to this place called Angry Young and Poor in Lancaster, and you could buy an array of like spikes, different sizes. They were like 10 cents a piece, and all it is like a big spike with like a screw underneath of it. So we would sit there and like punch holes in our leather jackets, and then screw these spikes on. And any arrangement you had, some were like the little pushover like tabs, and yeah, you could just have kind of fun with it. But I mean. That was in like the fucking
90s,
the like late 90s.
She had it would look like big aluminum nails.
Yeah,
like it was cool. Like you know, I was into punk rock. I know.
I love it because like she's doing her own thing.
Yeah, she just wants to be her.
Yeah.
And you know what I made when I was a teenager? I made anime costumes.
Well, still, whatever.
Still.
You know,
like it's just
different
like
times.
Well, yeah, different times, and plus it's like that kind of stuff wasn't like,
So this Rod Svenson, that she ends up spending the rest of her life with him.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's 22 at this point, and he is actually the one who found her because they lived together.
Right.
She was with him longer than she was not.
Yes. We put her in for a few days. She just excelled, playing multiple roles, making costumes. She started going with me to rock clubs while I was shooting other things. So he was a producer. This dude, like, he was into everything. And, like, she just...
Was he Jewish?
I don't know. Svenson. That's Swedish.
I bet he was Jewish. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
So he said the bohemian scene was getting old and stale at the time, and we just kind of wanted to do something way over the top. So like this is like I'm done being a hippie.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Back to you, John.
Oh, okay. So Svenson says the Plasmatics was a band created around Wendy as a vehicle for her.
Yeah. So that's what in the interview that I watched with him, he said that. You know, sometimes you build a band around a concept or an idea, but with the Plasmatics, she was the concept. She was the idea. The whole thing was to build it around her, to let her thrive.
Right. For anyone who thinks punk rock or thrash metal is just a thing for numbskull, brain dead druggies. Yeah. Keep this in mind.
Yes,
keep this in mind.
I remember growing up and you're a punk rocker, you like punk rock, you like thrash metal, you have no life and you have no future. Look at this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, just brain dead. Like if you look at some bands and their lyrics, they're like, we'll take for like Op Ivy. You remember them?
No.
Great fucking band, but their lyrics are like on a different level. Like this guy's like holy shit! Like just to think of that and then put it together in a song that.
Well, punk rockers were the real social justice warriors. Like
yeah, I think a lot of it too got like political and shit. So you have like I don't know, like two different kinds, like guys that don't want to get into politics. Like we don't talk about politics,
right,
on this. And then some that's just like all political, but whatever. I mean, to each his own. So, Rod Svenson was a Yale-educated
dude,
conceptual artist, underground music promoter, and
Gadfly.
Gadfly. What the fuck is that? And Gadfly of the New York City experimental theater scene.
He would hang around the experimental theater scene, and he was there. He would help. He would promote. He would step back. He would stand in the corner, jerk off, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you need.
I guess today he spends most of his time in Arizona.
Look at this.
His head buried deeply in acronyms. DARPA. The defense. Yeah. What? Wait. Hold on. What?
He works for DARPA. The Defense Department.
Yeah, I went DARPA.
Advanced Research Project as an agency.
Like that's a very controversial, like steeped in mystery and
high security shit.
Yeah.
He went to Yale, bro.
Okay, so they do a lot of fucked up shit, as I've heard. Probably do a whole episode on DARPA.
And he worked for the CESPA too, which is a Center for Ecological Study of Perception and Action.
Okay, so probably a lot of mind control shit.
Or, well, it says ecology, ecological.
Crazy. The plot thickens.
But, like, that's what he does now.
Yeah. Right. So.
Well, at the end.
Right. So, Wendy appeared in Gail Palmer adult film
Yeah.
Called Candy Goes to Hollywood.
That's 1979.
And I watched this. I think you can get it on YouTube.
You can't get it on YouTube.
I watched it somewhere. Like, it was free.
Yeah, it was on like YouPorn or something.
Yeah, I forget. she was featured as a performer, and she was only in it for a little bit.
Yep.
She was featured as a performer on a parody of The Gong Show, shooting ping pong balls across the set from her vagina. And
dude, she must have shot like 20 ping pong balls.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I didn't understand. Like,
I mean, I only watched one because, like, you know, that's not my thing. But there's like 20.
You're like, hold my beer. Watch this. I'm gonna shoot him out of my sweaty ass. On her brief appearance, the adult.
But actually, it's funny because she's shooting ping pong balls out of her vagina, and a dude's trying to catch him in his mouth.
Yes, they were like the three hosts. There was like 2 girls and a man.
Yeah, they were the Gong Show panel. Yeah, and then her and the other guy were performing.
Right. Totally, like total 70s, just bizarreness.
But her take on doing this, the next line, that kills me.
Okay, we're on her brief appearance in the film Candy Goes to Hollywood, Wendy was quoted as saying, "I was just like working in a donut shop, except you didn't wear a paper hat."
Dude, that was just her attitude. Like, like
just another job for me. Whatever. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she went on and appeared on SCTV, Second City Television, Canadian sketch show.
There's the Canadian connection.
Fish and Musician sketch with John Candy?
Yes.
In 1981? Damn. And kudos to you. You did some good work here, Michael. The heads decide they would.
The studio heads weren't going to put the episode out because when she came out, her costume revealed her nipples. And she would not cover them. She said, "I'm not covering my nipples."
Right.
They said, "You have to. We can't put it on TV." So the makeup artist says, "Okay, here's what we'll do.
We'll compromise and painted her breast black.
Paint her breast black so all you see is black. You don't see the nipple."
Wow.
Well,
can you imagine? Okay, so real quick side note. Do you guys know about like the Vanta Black situation and like the world's blackest black?
Yeah.
You literally like look at this black and you feel like you're looking at a void. Isaiah has it. It's amazing. Like it's a very matte, dark.
I saw there was a
true black
car that was painted in this black and like.
Can you imagine having that painted on your boobs? Like somebody just looking at your boobs like they're endless. What?
You wouldn't need to paint them on women's boobs.
Well, not like to have somebody stare at them. I just mean like, can you imagine like looking at a boob and just being like, I'm not looking at this boob for the boob anymore. It's just so black.
I don't know. I don't know what she's saying. I don't understand what she's saying.
Anyways,
moving right along. On January 18th, 1981, during a packed Plasmatics show at Milwaukee's long-defunct Palms nightclub. Really? You even put the fucking street on there?
My name.
2616 West State Street.
Let's go there. The 31-year-old Williams got friendly with heavy-duty wrecking tool,
a sledgehammer.
With a sledgehammer, and use it to simulate fellatio and masturbation. Miley Cyrus, eat your heart out.
Yeah. Well, see, no, I put that in because, like,
I know you did.
Like Miley Cyrus, like everybody's like, oh, because she did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it was a nod to Wendy O.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm just pissed off that
there's a lot more to Miley Cyrus than what the media portrays too.
I'm just
not much.
I just what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I wish I would have heard of her earlier.
They probably said that about Wendy O too. When she was there, they're like, "What the fuck is this lady?" You know what I mean? Like, what is she doing? But like now we look back and we're like, a pioneer.
Yeah.
Yeah. A pioneer.
I feel that's how they looked at her then. Unimpressed with Williams' two-for stunt, Milwaukee police officers showed up at the Palms in the early hours of January 19, pinned the singer to the ground outside in the snow while she's butt-ass naked and arrested her for an obscenity charge. Plasmatics manager Rod Svenson, 35, was also arrested for resisting officers and battery to police officers. So, okay, she's arrested. Not the first time. Certainly not the last time. Both Wendy and Rod accused the police of beating them during the arrest. I will not have that.
Now I looked up her booking photo.
Not one.
And because I was someplace where the internet is monitored, I did not click on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could see in her booking photo,
she's all busted up.
Her under her eyes busted up. It looks like her nose is fucked up pretty good.
When is this from? What year is this? 1981.
81, yeah. Just Wendy O arrest photo. That's all you got.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was fighting him.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Kicking and screaming. She was eventually cleared of her charges. Later, later in 81,
yeah, she's busted.
Yeah.
Later in 81 in Cleveland, Ohio, Williams was acquitted of an obscenity charge.
She can't even open her eye
for simulating for simulating sex on stage wearing only shaving cream.
Now, one of the videos I was watching, they show this. All she had, where she would have a tube top, she had shaving cream.
I think I saw that. She covered her nips with electrical tape to avoid arrest. In 81,
here it is.
An Illinois judge sentenced her to 1 year supervision and fined her $35. Really, $35?
What? This is 81.
For attacking a freelance photographer who tried to take pictures of her as she jogged along the Chicago lakefront.
So now, according to Rod in his interview, she would jog like 6 miles a day.
I believe it. She was in shape.
She was in shape. She had a nice body.
Fit.
Yeah. And she didn't drink or do drugs.
No. By this time, no, she was.
She was done.
There's another. Well, there's more than one, but there's a lot of female singers in punk rock that like you ever hear the Interrupters? Like she's a phenomenal singer, and I guess she had alcohol and drug problems earlier in her life, and she's completely clean. I believe she's vegan, but she did like a tour bus. Like welcome to my crib, whatever. They came in and she showed you what was in the fridge, her living quarters and everything, and she's just clean eating, and it's like, okay, that's impressive. Like, good on you. Like, you went from like, having nothing, being a drug addict, drugs, you built yourself up, went through all that shit, and now look at you. Like, you're making money, you're clean. That's fucking awesome.
Here you go, John.
Oh yeah, I've seen that picture.
Yeah, she's like the color one is better.
Yeah, it's right next to it. Yeah. It's just not as big.
It is like that face is
busted.
Yeah, she got clocked in a fucking face, no doubt.
Probably fighting with the cops and she got punched.
Yeah,
well, she probably was resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Yep. So striking out on her own, as she always did, Wendy recorded a duet with Lemmy of Motorhead in 1982.
Nice.
Of the country hit "Stand By Your Man." No shit.
Now I listened to this, and when it first came on, I'm like, "This does not sound like Stand." But then they get to it, and it's like, "Okay, all right, it's a heavy metal version of "Stand By Your Man." And "Stand By Your Man."
Yeah.
Well, that's not what it sounds like.
Well, of course not. When you got fucking Lemmy and her.
This next part, like, I freaking love this.
Now, you want to read it? Good.
Okay, in 1983, rock legends Kiss had been through some trials and tribulations in the past year. Ace Frehley departed the band and was replaced by Vincent Caruso.
That's
Cusano.
Yeah, Caruso.
Okay.
that's the
yeah.
He listens to this, so shout out to Vinny. Vinny C. The official release from the band
for Kiss.
What? Yeah, I didn't know you
for Kiss.
The official release from the band did not say that Frehley quit the band because their contract with Polygram was very specific that the three founding members had to be at these concerts or they were in breach of contract. So what they said, he was injured in an automobile accident and he would make stage appearances when he could, so they were still within the contract. So at this time, because I was a Kiss fan, like this was one of the bands that I grew up with, and I remember that they started doing some pop stuff and some disco influence stuff, and the fans were like, "What the fuck? That's not Kiss, man."
Yeah.
So this tour
that makes me so angry.
What?
Ouch! It is Kiss. You know why it's Kiss? Because Kiss made it.
Okay.
Kiss is allowed to make whatever kind of music. Sorry, Ellie. Kiss wants.
Right, but the fans wanted
I understand
the hard
that.
rock.
I understand that. However, that's just what they're known for. They're musicians. They're artists.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't ever feel that way. Like, if I like something, I like something. For instance, I don't like all of Machine Gun Kelly's stuff. I actually was very opposed to Machine Gun Kelly, but when I listened to Tickets to Your Downfall, I really loved it because it is a pop-punk inspired album. Like, it's not a rap album. It's not, whatever. So, I like when artists go outside of their
Well, there's always been a strong
genre.
connection between hip-hop or original rap and hardcore
Yes.
punk rock.
I like all kinds of music.
I do too.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents.
If it makes me happy, I'll listen to it.
Exactly, and I think that artists should be able to make whatever makes them happy, regardless of what the fans
Follow me,
want.
Lexi. Follow me for a second.
I'm following.
You used to Kiss hard rock, and then that Ace Frehley's leaving the band.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big thing. The year before, or 2 years before this, was the first time I ever saw Kiss, and I was so disappointed because they took their freaking face paint. It was the Unmasked tour.
Yes, I remember you telling me about this.
I hated it.
I just watched a video of them with their
That kind of sounds like your fault, though.
their face paint off.
I'm gonna go to the Unmasked tour.
Actually, someone got the tickets for me and took me because they thought they were doing something nice for me. And then he kicked my ass because I was ungrateful because I was pissed off that they didn't have paint on.
Well,
it was called the Unmasked tour.
I
You
was 10 years old.
did go to Kiss. You got to see Kiss. I saw, when I saw Kiss? When they were old and decrepit.
I saw Kiss
Last year.
with Motley Crue up at Montage.
I know.
Which one
How
of
many
them
times
smashed
have you
their
seen
Walker
Motley Crue?
first, Gene or Vince?
You know what? It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was really good.
It's an event.
It definitely was up there with the Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
The Alice Cooper performance at the Motley Crue concert.
Alice Cooper in vaudeville.
So they were going through all this, and Kiss decided they were going to book opening acts that were a little more edgy, and they thought the Plasmatics would give them a little bit of cred with the edgier crowd. So they had the Plasmatics open for them in the middle of the tour. I never knew that.
Makes sense.
Excuse me.
Well, from what I heard, Gene Simmons was a straight up just fucking businessman.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, he didn't party, he didn't, do drugs, and from what they were saying, he was kind of a douchebag. Just
One of the
Slept with a lot of women.
yeah.
yeah.
One of the
Oh, with a tongue like that. I bet you'd sleep with him.
I think about it.
maybe.
So yeah, show me that tongue. So that tour was eventually canceled at the end of it because the attendance was so low. But Motley Crue at the end of that tour was opening for him in the latter stages.
Huh.
They also had I thought I copied the other bands that opened for him. Molly Hatchet opened for him in the beginning. I forget who else it was. Anyway, her connection with Kiss and Gene Simmons brought Gene into production of her first solo album, Wow, which is Wendy O Williams. So Kiss members Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, Eric Carr performed on the album, as did Gene Simmons. But Gene Simmons credited himself as the bass player on the album as Reginald Van Helsing.
Why?
Okay.
And they also brought Michael Ray in to play lead guitar. Michael Ray was in the running to replace Ace Frehley when they were looking for people to replace Ace Frehley. Anyway, back to John.
Where are we at here?
Right there.
In 1985, Williams starred in the Rocky Horror Show at Westport Playhouse in St. Louis. The show played for 6 months, but a nationwide tour fell through.
Yeah, they were talking about taking this nationwide. I guess this is the time before Broadway was Disney Street, which is what they call it now. And I guess they thought it was just too risque to go nationwide.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
excuse me. So, in '86, she recorded.
risky, but now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Now
it would be a Disney show.
So in '86, she recorded her second solo album, Commander of Chaos.
Yes.
Also known as Cock.
Yeah, K-O-K. The same year, she also starred in an indie film, Reformed Schoolgirls.
I'm glad to see this.
A black comedy that depicts the story of a young girl who was sent to a reform school that is operated by a sadistic warden.
Yes, she actually plays the bully in the story.
So that actually pulled in $2.5 million in the box office. It was rated R for nudity and more nudity.
So there was a bunch of intentional scenes where they would be half dressed, and I guess when it came out, Wendy nor Rod liked the film when it came out. Like they didn't want nothing to do with it.
Right.
But they approached them about using 3 of her songs from her Commander of Chaos album, and they say, okay, there's money in it for us.
Right. Well, I made 2.5, and
yeah.
I mean, it does straight up sound like some kind of a porno. Like, you know,
it's basically.
It's a lot of, sure,
it was the 80s.
Big-breasted, hot, you know, blondes and a sadistic warden. Put 2 and 2 together. What do you think is going to happen?
Fun. Sounds like a good weekend.
So now in '87, she starred in The New Adventures of Beans Baxter.
That was a TV show on Fox.
She was all over the fucking place. The Plasmatics' last tour was in late 1988.
That was a reunion tour.
Also, 10 years before she died.
Yes.
The same year, Wendy put out another solo trash rap
album
called Defest,
and Baddest, under the name Ultrafly and the Hometown Girls.
Okay.
Dude, when we're done, we'll have to listen because I don't want a copyright strike.
Right. Yeah. Something tells me it's probably terrible.
Dude, it's horrible. It's horrible. Like, the rest of her music, like, I could dig, but that,
Yeah, he's trying to do something different. If it sticks, it sticks.
Now, here's another good connection that I love.
This next one?
Yep.
The last known performance of the Plasmatics song occurred New Year's Eve, 1988, at the prodding of Joey Ramone. She reformed Master Plan with Richie Stotts.
Richie Stotts was one of the original members of Plasmatics.
Okay. Whose band was opening for the Ramones. Richie was one of the founding members of the Plasmatics.
I just said that.
And
no, but Joey Ramone.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Yeah.
And here's another fun story about Joey Ramone. When I was in the Navy,
you sucked his dick.
No, it was about this time of year. No. Why would you even say that?
It just came out. I'm sorry.
Listen, whatever.
I'm sorry.
So, someone said, hey, there's a concert over on base. It's a free concert. You want to go over? There's concert and fireworks. I'm like, sure, I'll go over. So I get over there, and I didn't know who was playing. And
it was the Ramones.
It was the Ramones.
I wish I would have seen them.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I wish I did too.
It's the fucking Ramones. I was there, like, I knew all the songs, and I'm like, and all these other guys are like,
look at this weirdo.
I'm like, fuck you.
I thought we knew you, Michael.
Well, the one dude that I hung out with there, his name was Shiloh. He was from California.
Shylock?
Yeah.
You said it wrong. It's Shiloh.
It's Shiloh. And my other buddy, Lolly, he was also from California. Lolly and I are the ones who flew out to California and drove the convertible.
Oh, I thought you drove the bike back.
No. We drove a convertible caddy back to Great Lakes. Anyway, they both knew the Ramones. So it was like the 3 of us and all these other people like, this music's pretty good, but who are these fucking weirdos?
These fucking queers.
What are these queers? These queers.
I totally forgot what I was going to say. So in '91, she and Rod moved to Storrs, Connecticut. She worked as an animal rehabilitator and at a food co-op. She said she moved up there because she was pretty fed up with dealing with people.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And she was an animal lover.
Yes. Yeah. And the food co-op thing, that goes back to her, the macro Buddhist
Zen Buddhism.
Zen Buddhism.
So in 93, Williams attempted to commit suicide by hammering a knife into her chest.
Like you're sitting there with a hammer, banging a knife into your freaking chest. It gets stuck on her sternum.
Yeah.
She had a change of heart.
Ugh.
Get it?
So you got this like big butcher knife stuck in your fucking chest. And you're like, yeah, Roddy! I think I need to go to the hospital.
She's like, hey, hon, just tried hammering a knife into my chest. Didn't work. Stuck in my sternum now. Can you take me to the hospital?
Thanks.
Thanks. Love you.
She again attempted suicide in 1997 by taking an overdose of ephedrine, a stimulant often used to prevent low blood pressure during spinal anesthesia, asthma, narcolepsy, and obesity.
Now, hold on. Now, in 97, I was already working at the jail. You could buy ephedrine over the counter.
Yes, I've heard that.
So it was used for people with asthma.
What isn't
It's a stimulant,
ephedrine
though.
like the guys who work out with that shit?
Yes. Oh, the guy. That's what
It's like meth.
It was like.
So,
Yeah.
so there was guys at the jail who were taking that because we were getting drafted a lot, and they still wanted to go to the gym, and they would go work out. And there was one dude, and I won't mention his name. He no longer works there. He would dump half a bottle of those things into his hand, and swallow them. And it was crazy. Like I'm like, oh my god, dude, you're gonna die.
That's not good. And here's the sad part. You've got to come to an end. So on April 6, 1998, Wendy walked into the woods, and wildlife fed the squirrels.
And fed what?
She walked into the woods and wildlife.
No, yeah. Okay, all right. She was feeding squirrels, placed a paper bag over her head so Rob would not have to see her in that state, and she shot herself in the head.
She ended her life like she lived it on her own terms. I don't know if she shot herself. It doesn't say where she shot herself. One thing I thought it said is she shot herself in the chest.
That would be awful.
I thought she shot herself in the head. Now you know when you think about it, they didn't really say.
I don't know if they said.
Well, because here's the thing.
I'm gonna finish off with that knife started.
So,
but hold on. Now, she left a note. Is that in there? Oh, my Johnny Jump Ahead.
You're Johnny Jump Ahead.
It's literally the next line.
All right, somebody take it from here.
Okay.
Right.
So she leaves a package for Rod. It contains noodles, a pack of seeds for growing garden greens.
They said those noodles were his favorite noodles.
Yes.
That he could only get like somewhere special.
Yes.
So she bought them for him. They were just like
regular noodles,
regular fucking pasta noodles. Yeah,
they were a box of pasta.
Some massage bomb and sealed letters from her. The suicide letters included a living will, denying life support, a love letter, and a honeydew list.
It was several lists of stuff that he needed to do. And it's just like a woman. Here, I'm dead. Do this stuff now.
Yeah. You think he did them?
I think some of it was like how she wanted to be buried and
return to their home in the area where they had lived.
I wonder if she was buried naked.
Oriental massage bomb and sealed letters. Let's see. So
this is the letter.
After this, he starts searching the woods for her as well.
Yes. So he has not found her body yet, but he like I know what happened.
The box.
I know what happened.
Yeah. So she's been contemplating suicide for the past 4 years, essentially.
Yes. She's
tried it twice. She's despondent leading up to this. She was 48. In one of the letters that she left for Svenson, she wrote, "I don't believe that people should take their own lives without deep and thoughtful reflection over a considerable period of time. I do believe strongly, however, that the right to do so is one of the most fundamental rights that anyone in a free society should have. For me, much of the world makes no sense, but my feelings about what I am doing ring loud and clear to an inner ear in a place where there is no self, only calm. This brings me to one of my favorite statements, which is, suicide is only illegal because you are not allowed to deface government property.
I guess we are to government property once you get your
Social Security card.
So around this time, you had Kevorkian, and it was
4 years ago, Kurt Cobain was murdered by Courtney Love.
Suicide was like
almost
a hotly
to the
contested
T,
thing,
by the way.
And just like her, to put herself out in the front of controversy, I think.
Yes.
I think her suicide note there was a lot of her like reflection on like Buddhism. Like, I don't belong here. Like, there's
self.
more.
She wants self. She wants calm. This is literally, 4 years and 1 day after Kurt Cobain. Which I think
must be a conspiracy.
Courtney Love must have done it.
You know what?
Maybe she killed Wendy O.
Would not surprise me. She was probably jealous that Wendy O was better than her.
By far.
Or maybe Wendy just wrote her own music and that pissed her off. I don't know. Yikes. So Joey Ramone and many others issued statements at the time of her death. On Motorhead's 1999 live album, Everything Louder Than Everyone Else, before the song No Class, Motorhead vocalist Lemmy said that he wanted to dedicate the song to her. A memorial was held at CBGB on May 18th. Several of Wendy's former Plasmatics co-members.
Josie.
Well, I was just looking for the end of the names. I was going to read them all.
No.
It's like all of them. It's like all of them.
Richie Stotts.
West
Beach. Stu Deutsch.
Jean Benevois.
Jean Beauvoir. Beauvoir.
T.C.
Tolliver played a 6-song set with 4 of them handling the vocals. It took 4 of them to do what she could do by herself.
I think every once in a while there's somebody that comes along that you just know is special.
I think I'm the biggest Wendy O fan now. I think I can say that.
You're welcome.
I think she's great.
Also, when she was doing these videos for their songs, she did the stunts.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine her not.
At the one where she jumps off the top of the school bus, she actually almost broke her ankle.
So I think every once in a while there's somebody special that comes along that is special, and like, holy shit, they're different.
Yeah.
And they got something, and more times than not, they end up leaving this fucking world early. And it just makes you wonder, like, is that meant to happen, or
they say
they just
that
destined for something better than what's on this earth?
So she was also on MacGyver.
On MacGyver? MacGyver.
She was on a MacGyver episode.
Oh. I thought you meant like she was like MacGyver? She was MacGyver-like?
No. She was on the show MacGyver in 1990.
She jumped off that bus and she decided
also in 1990 she was
break her leg, and she built a kite real quick and flew off into the
She was in Pucker Up and Bark Like a Dog.
That sounds like a great movie too.
But so they say that people who have issues with depression, like severe depression and suicidal thoughts, they obviously are on a different wavelength, but they say that those are the people that really see the world for how it is. They're not optimists, they're not, pessimists, they just see it how it is.
They're just mists.
And really, yeah, they see the world for what it is, and it's just man, this kind of sucks sometimes, And that's a lot of smart people that have issues like that. You gotta think there's I forget his name. I forget who it was.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. That's it. Jeffrey Dahmer. But they're just so many.
Jeffy.
You gotta think all the people all the really intelligent people I don't know, like Einstein and shit, they all have like mental issues.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they
Nikola
all had
Tesla.
issues. Tesla, yep.
Who's the aviator? He like
same thing you said last time.
locked himself in a room. He was like pissing in the canisters and grew his
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes.
You had the same exact thing last time.
Here you go.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Me. Look at me.
Perfect peel. That is very sticky. But I mean, yeah, I think
Was she in Mad Max?
she should have been. Is she the inspiration for Mad Max? I think
yeah.
so. You know.
No, she wasn't in Mad Max. Because I think that would have been listed.
Absolutely, that would have been listed.
John and I both love, the punk rock scene back then, and they were all known for doing wild and outlandish things, and I think she pushed it beyond even some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like she blew a car up on stage.
Like, why not, bro?
And where they cut the guitar with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like I watched that. I watched that. That's crazy.
All the pyrotechnics. I think Kiss had pyrotechnics, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
So maybe that was her inspiration, but she kind of was like the female version of it. So like kudos to her.
Motley Crue had pyrotechnics too,
but she was before them.
I'm just saying.
And I always say the women have always struggled with the versus male. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely back then a male dominated scene.
Sure, absolutely.
And she fucking comes along and she's like,
fuck everybody.
It still kind of is.
Yeah. And I guess you could say was it you like the Miley Cyrus suck it or whatever? No, like she's kind of doing her own thing. And
right, like that's what I mean. Like maybe Wendy O is like one of her idols because
her muse.
You gotta think look at some of the stuff that she wears. And you know what I mean? Like at some of her performances, look at some of the stuff that she does, like the way that she does her makeup, cuts her hair.
Yeah,
she does a lot of Wendy O type things. Maybe she's just following in somebody else's footsteps.
Except she's not talented in any way.
What was the O for? Was it
Oline?
Wow.
So yeah, kudos to you, John. That was good.
I thought you would like that.
I did.
It was a good choice.
Plus, I started listening to some punk rock and stuff while I was researching.
Well, what I think I prefaced this or said this earlier, but the way I found it was there was a picture of Gigi Allen with her. I'm like, who the fuck is Wendy O Williams?
Yeah.
And I looked her up. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, she's fucking awesome. Like,
I'm wondering how I didn't know her.
Like one of the pioneers. And but if you look at Gigi Allen,
wait, hold on. At the beginning of this episode, you said, "How do you not know her?" And now you're saying, "Wow, I can't believe I didn't know her."
Because I would think that she would be someone that you would know.
Well, that was in your dad's. That was in. You would have grown up listening to that.
He would have.
That's what I'm saying.
But he asked me why I didn't know her.
Right. I just figured that would be like
for sure up my alley. I said,
yeah.
I don't care. If I hate her music. I'm gonna listen to it.
Well, I think.
all the time.
It's a shame because I don't think she obviously she's not really. It was kind of like the underground scene.
Right, she's not celebrated like other women who have pioneered.
The only music that she did that I thought was horrible was the rap.
Well, we're gonna listen to it. I had it pulled up.
But I guess I don't want to say they were in competition, but I think Gigi Allen. Now he's a whole other beast, another freaking guy that was just crazy, but he was a genius in my eyes. But he had the suicide tour where he was going to commit suicide on stage. I know he said, well, he didn't have the balls to do it, but Wendy O Williams did. Like she fucking lived that life, like more hardcore than this motherfucker did.
I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Like he kept saying he was going to kill himself on stage, Then he ended up ODing one night and on heroin. And
did he get clean after that?
No, he died.
Oh.
It was
so technically he did get clean after that.
It was a total OD.
Yeah, it was
OD.
So, Wendy O Williams.
Wendy O?
Amazing creature.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
I'll have to do some of my own research.
I also, you should pull up the her duet with Lemmy.
I already did.
Okay. So we're going to listen to that. And while we do that, you go take on the world. Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.